Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. And this episode, we're going to talk about the word friendship. Friendship, any variation of that word friend. We're going to talk about how it is a sacred word and it does not benefit you to label random people as your friend. We want to get really clear on who those people are that we call friends. What do they do? How do they show up for us? How do we show up for them? Are you ready? Let's go. That my best friend. She real bad. She our own money. She don't need no Okay, I was just listening to Switey. I'm gonna get killed. Hey, I'm 41. Okay, I shouldn't even listen to this kind of music. I was listening to it featuring Doja Cat, and I was just like, yeah, this is something I want to talk about. Because as I scroll through the internet and I listen to my clients, listen to other people, and they're like, these are my friends. These are my friends. I can't understand why my friends, I hate them or this or that. That's like, this is, I'm going to calm down and really put my thoughts into words here. But basically, I see a whole lot of people say that, and everything I talk about here in my podcast is something that I've had some experience with and I've definitely done. Okay, so labeling people as friends who are not really friends, who we're not sure of, but what we like to do to keep this idea that people are friends to us is put some kind of qualifier in front of the word friend. This is the kind of friend that I have. This is my best friend. She a real bad. Okay, I'll stop doing that. But really, they say they're my best friend. Well, what are those activities or things that a best friend does? My bestie. They are a lazy friend, or they are a low-key friend, or they are a sometimes friend, or they are a long-distance friend, or they are something. And I think that we really need to get to the root of what a friend is, instead of having some kind of qualifier to say that this is the kind of friend that's likely to show up. Because usually when we put those qualifiers in front of friendship, it's not a satisfactory friendship. Like some best friends, okay, great. You got besties, you got people in there that really connect and do this thing. But most of the time, what I see is people trying to keep people close, saying they're my friend, which is a close kind of relationship, but qualifying the closeness by saying they're long distance, or they're low key, or they're sometimes friend, or they're a low maintenance friend. That's the word I'm looking for. Low maintenance friend, where, you don't reach out to each other. They're a sometimes friend. They're a person we always catch up with, but they're my friend nonetheless. And I think that if we just fix the language and we just fixed how we looked at friendships, and instead of putting that qualifier in front of them and just being really like, okay, this is what a friend to me is. And if you do not meet these criteria, then you cannot be considered a friend. You're going to be an associate. And how awkward is it to introduce someone as an associate or an acquaintance or something like that? But you bet your ass that I do it. You better believe that I do it, because I don't want to get confused with the idea that this person is going to be there for me in a way I believe a friendship will. Don't call me a friend if you're not doing the things that I want you to do as a friend. If I'm not doing the things that you want me to do as a friend. So, what are those things? Because most of us don't know. And it took a really long time for me to figure it out too. What is it do I want in a friend? This requires some self-reflection upon you, on your part. Who is really a friend? And if they're not a friend, what do I call them? What do I call them? A buddy? A pal? A hangout person? I don't know. Somebody I hang out with? I avoid using that word friend so this is for me personally, if I can't talk about how I feel with them. They're not friends. They're not friends to me. And if we're only meeting on just one kind of topic or just one kind of thing, so if we only share one hobby and nothing else outside of that, congratulations, you are an associate. I associate you with one thing or two things: playing basketball, drinking beer, going for walks, playing board games. You are an associate because you don't know anything about me and my life. And what that does for me, it makes me know that they are not the person to go to for when I have troubles. They are not the person for me to go to when I have frustrations or sadness. They are not the person, because clearly we only talk about one thing. We only do one kind of thing together. They don't get to know the other dimensions of who I am. And you better believe that I'm the kind of person who's going to make an attempt to show you who I am. When I encounter you, we make that connection, and I want you to know more about me, and I want to know more about you. I want to know who you are and how you show up so we can call each other friends. I want to know what your expectations are of me so we can call each other friends. I'm going to tell you what my expectations are of you and how I'm going to show up for you. And if you can't hear any of that, then you can't be a friend. You can't be a friend. So I want to normalize this idea of you removing that label of friend from other people that don't recognize how you feel. If they don't have space for it, if they don't hear it, then leave that label behind. And what this going to do is really help you psychologically search for the right people. Because right now, a lot of us are settling and saying this is a low maintenance friend, when really we want somebody who is not going to use us, who's going to appreciate us, who's going to accept us. But once our brain hears the word friend, we're locked in. We're locked in. Now, I have a personal story that just popped into my head about this organization that I was connected to. And I worked with a lot of the people there and talk to them outside of the organization or regular meetings. And there's a person that just kept calling me a friend, and they would talk to me and stuff like that. And I wanted to put the label on it, but I'm like, oh, well, as much as we talked, as interesting as our conversations were, it was usually just about this one thing, this organization. It wasn't about me as a person. It wasn't about what I was going through in my experiences. That happens so rarely. In the time that I've known these people and this person, I was like, oh, well, you know what? I can't call you a friend. I don't want to. I don't want to get confused as a person that I believe, like confused in believing that you are a person that I can reach out to when I'm having a hard time. No, because the trend has always been, I can talk to you about this organization, and that's it. I can't talk to you about anything else. And you won't talk to me about anything other than this organization too. You'll get really upset. You'll do yourself a huge disservice if you look at that person because they called you a friend or because they talk to you often, that they're going to hold space for you. I'm telling you, this happened to me and it hurt pretty bad. And I just want you to pay attention to it for your own sake. Make that separation. Make it very clear about who you are and how you're going to show up for them. And make it very clear about how they are and what you expect from them if you are going to use the sacred name friend. Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. If you'd like a little more guidance and hands-on support, then I've got great news. You can hire me as your own personal coach. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to apply for individual or group coaching. In this 12-week program, I'm going to help you make the meaningful connections that you deserve. After this coaching program, I promise you'll be able to do 3 things. 1, you'll be able to clearly identify who belongs in your tribe and who doesn't. Say goodbye to those people who are wishy-washy, you're unsure of. No, you will know for certain whether or not they deserve to be in the same space with you. And second, you are going to know that your thoughts and feelings are valid and worth expressing. So if you do have feelings about your friends not holding up boundaries or not holding up space for you or not meeting your needs, then you are not going to shy away from telling them. You will be able to communicate your boundaries in a clear, concise manner and advocate for yourself in your relationships. And finally, you are going to learn how to start and stop conversations with strangers and steer them towards topics that are interesting and important to you. I don't know about you, but I don't have weeks, months, years to discover whether or not me and my new friend have compatible values. If you know what you're looking for, you can discover if you're compatible in just a few conversations. If all this sounds good to you and you're ready to make those meaningful connections, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. Again, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. I look forward to working with you. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you have burning questions about your friendships and your platonic relationships with your coworkers and so forth, let me know. Write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, and I might just read your letter out loud. All right, how do I handle trauma dumping? A friend of mine who I've been contacting on and off has a huge tendency of trauma dumping. At this point, almost every interaction I've had with them ends up with them complaining about how their life sucks. I've basically become a dumpster of support, and whenever they feel down, they come to me. Today, I gave in and told them that I can't handle these kinds of topics, that they need professional help, and to stop going to a psychiatrist is not a good idea. I told them that I can't really help them with their situation, and I feel helpless. I'm blaming myself that I can't help them. They got real mad about me and said they didn't come to me for therapy. Am I a piece of shit for not being able to handle all of this? For telling them that I don't want to blame myself and this does affect me emotionally? It's not like I don't want to help, but I can't. It's taking a toll on me, and on top of that, I have problems in my own life. Honestly, a part of me is hoping that they don't contact me again, but a part of me is also hurting that they're in a bad spot mentally. How do I handle this? Well, so as a theme of the episode, I talked about friends and who these people are that we label friends. And first, I would look at this and be like, okay, because I'm the outsider looking in, I'd be like, oh, well, good job. I want to say good job because you let that person go. I don't believe, based on what you wrote, that you said anything that was hurtful, because everything that you say here, it seems like it is very thoughtful and you're thinking about them. You're constantly thinking about this person. So I wonder, did you say some shameful things? Did you try to make them feel worse? Were you harsh in the way you said it? I don't think you came across that way. I think that you're recognizing that you can't help them. You really can't help this person. They need something else, somebody who's more skilled and supportive. If you're thinking about this person before yourself, you're thinking about this person before yourself, because that's what it sounds like. You're always thinking about them. What can I do? How can I support you? And you just come to realize that you just don't have the tools. You just don't have the tools. And having them talk to you about what's going on in their life, complaining to you, dumping on you, is not doing you any service and is not doing them any service. It's doubly impactful and painful for you because, one, you are trying to help them and you're realizing that you're inadequate and you don't have the tools to help them with this situation. Two, you have your own problems on top of that. You are never able to be heard and understood and appreciated as you want to be as a person in this relationship. You are a dumpster to them. You are a thing. You're a tool. And although you want to help, this is not how you want to do it. So you realize that, man, this is not ideal. And this is not a friend. This is what I mean when we talk about friendships and we label these people as friends. A friend of mine who I've been contacting on and off. What are your friends? This person is not a friend because They don't hear you, and they don't care about how you feel. And even when you told them how you felt, like, hey, friend, I don't have the capacity for this. I have my own things happening in my life. In fact, you didn't even say that first. You said, I can't help you. Somebody better equipped can help you, thinking about them and their well-being instead of you and your well-being. What a great thing to do. What a really supportive way to show up for them. And they can't see you because when you said that to them, they got mad. They got real mad. They're like, I don't like that. I didn't come to you for therapy instead of some empathy. I understand how you feel. I know I've been laying it on pretty thick lately. I have so many things happening in my life, and I hadn't stopped to think about how you might feel, about what's going on with you. I hadn't done that at all. Of course, you wouldn't want to hear me say this over and over and over to you. You're not a therapist. You're my friend. What's going on in your life? How are you feeling? How can I support you? They said no words like that. They just were angry. That tells you a lot about the relationship. My friends, and hopefully your friends, aren't people that you don't want to hang out with. Because you said, honestly, a part of me is hoping they don't contact me again. Whew. My friends spark joy. I want to talk to them. They want to talk to me. This doesn't sound good. When we talk about labeling these people in their life, I want you to consider that this person can just be an associate, maybe one that doesn't feel great to talk to. But if you have, for those of you who are listening, and not quite for this person who's handling the trauma dumping, but if you have somebody like this in your life who just doesn't hold space for you, but you have a good time together, you still have a good time together. You associate people with, you have joy and you do fun things and you like each other's company when it comes to one topic, board games, video games, whatever it is that you like to do, horticulture. I'm into herbs and stuff like that. Just whatever it is that you like to do and you associate with that, and maybe you don't show them any more about your life outside of it, they can still be great people to hang out with, but they aren't your friends. They aren't your friends because once you hear that word friend, you're going to be like, oh, this is somebody I can really connect to and show more about who I am. If you can't do that, then they're an associate. And you can say that. Well, what words are we to use for those people? Well, buddy, associate or person who I do this thing with, but maybe I need some more words for you, but you'll come up with your own. I'm just saying anything but friend. And friend is all polite and it's fun and it's nice and it doesn't hurt anybody's feelings because when you introduce them, you don't introduce them as a friend. You say, this is their name. This is their name. I hang out with them. And that's it. You don't give them that label unless they prove to you, unless you've had a conversation, unless you've shown your feelings to them and they had capacity and space to hold them. But people like this, they become strangers. It's trauma dumping. The people who trauma dump on you, once you realize that you're not doing a service to them, it might feel good to support them initially, but eventually you're going to discover that all they're going to do is see you as a tool, as a person who can just hold space for them and they never have to hold space for you. Then you're going to feel more like the therapist friend that I had mentioned. When people come, they trauma dump on you. So see, it's like therapist friend is one of those qualifying friendships. It's a word that you put in front of friend as a label, but it's not a real friend. It's not what I consider a real friend. And I hope that after listening to this episode, you would feel the same way. So finally, to this person who wrote about the trauma dumping friend, I just really want to let you know that you did a fantastic job. Like, kudos to you. And there's some guilt, there's some shame about you not being the person who's able to help them. But I want you to know, really think about this. I want you to know that even though it might be hard to believe right now, you've done an amazing and powerful thing by letting them know how you felt. Because you know that you don't have the answers to support them. And maybe you don't know exactly what they need to do to resolve the issues in their life, but you know that it's not you. You know that you're not the person who has the capacity for it. I want you to realize that every moment that they spend with you trying to get help is a disservice to them. When you've let them go, you've helped them more than you ever know by letting them seek help elsewhere, by letting them go find the right thing. Otherwise, they would have attached themselves to you and never got the help that they need because you were just not capable. That's okay. What you did was absolutely perfect. And everybody is going to be better. Both you and that person that you released into the universe is going to be okay. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media, and I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories, and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.